mother wasn't abusive. My mother was a loving parent. My mother was, she was the most kind person that you ever want to meet. And the trauma that she caused me was not intentional. It was the things that she said to try and prevent me from becoming a teenage parent. And if those things were, don't make the mistake that I made. And getting pregnant was a mistake. And so as a child, I heard mistake. And so throughout my life, any room that I was in, I felt that my voice may not have been loud enough, or I didn't deserve to be in that room, because again, mistake was the layer of who I was. I was not supposed to be here.
First guest that I'm about to bring on is doing just that. Just the messages that she is promoting right now and the platform that she has is wonderful, and I cannot wait for you all to meet her. So without any further ado, please welcome Miss Rhonda Foster.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me tonight.
Oh, thank you for being here. I was excited. And, I tried to message the guests to make sure we were good, and you answered right away, like, yes, we are on. And I said, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So please tell everybody who Rhonda Foster is, and then tell us about this amazing platform that you've created for yourself.
Well, Rhonda Foster, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. I earned a bachelor's degree from DeVry University, and I earned my MBA from Texas A&M University. I am a native Houstonian, best known for my philanthropism and my capacity building here in the Houston community. I've encountered many obstacles, such as verbal abuse in domestic violence relationship, the death of a spouse, 15 years of infertility. I'm a child of an incarcerated parent to this day. I was born to teenage parents. I've struggled with mental health issues, and I've had some issues with. I've been divorced, the loss of my mother, abandonment, all those issues, and many more. I can go on to say that, as many of us have struggled with some of those things. However, I've learned to use those obstacles to champion, as a method to share with others my testimony, or how I overcome, and how I'm still maneuvering through the journey. To be honest, I'm still maneuvering through self-support. I'm an advocate of therapy. I'm an advocate of making sure that you have exhausted every opportunity and every avenue to dissect the core issues that you may be struggling with. And just so happened, my core issue started as a child, in childhood trauma. So my book and this platform is an opportunity for me to share with others. It may be teenage parents who've had a child today, in today's society, or it may be someone born to teenage parents and you're struggling with some of the abandonment issues. You're struggling with some of the issues that have traumatized you. It just may be the verbal abuse. It may be because trauma looks different, Dr. Rhonda, for everybody.
Right.
In my case, it wasn't verbal abuse. It was just some of the words that were said to peers who I was, and it changed the trajectory of who I was as an individual. And for me, I didn't take note of that until I was an adult. And so my book is a platform for me to share those things with people within the community and not feel slighted about it. And that's what I want to share with others, not to feel slighted about it, but to do the work to determine where those core issues started at, so that you can begin the healing process. Because what my journey was, is that I realized what was done to me. And as my son, my baby son, he's now 14, but I started seeing signs of what my mother did to me when it came to, as she said, I started seeing those signs within things that I was doing for my son. And so I knew that it was really time to do the work and not just say I'm doing it, but to actually get to the core of what was causing my trauma, or what was the triggers of my trauma.
You know what I think is amazing when I listen to your story is that when you started listing all of these things, for some people that can be an excuse why they can't go any further, or this is why I can't have a career. This is why I can't go to college. This is why I can't succeed. This is why I'm going to stay right where I am. But you actually said, despite this, I'm going to do that. And like I said, you built a platform for yourself. You're with speaking and writing, and you are actually encouraging other people that they don't have to settle for their circumstances just because that happens to be where they started.
Absolutely. And I'll be totally honest with you. Um, when we're in those situations, all the things that I listed, when we're in those situations, I know for me, it was my normal life. I didn't know anything different. And so sometimes we look at those situations, this is just life for me, you know. And my trauma came with, and in the book, it shares with you that my trauma came, my mother wasn't abusive. My mother was a loving parent. My mother was, she was the most kind person that you ever want to meet. And the trauma that she caused me was not intentional. It was the things that she said to try and prevent me from becoming a teenage parent. And if those things were, don't make the mistake that I made. And getting pregnant was a mistake. And so as a child, I heard mistake. And so throughout my life, any room that I was in, I felt that my voice may not have been loud enough, or I didn't deserve to be in that room because, again, mistake was the layer of who I was. I was not supposed to be here. And so I use that now into today. That was the core of me getting therapy, because I had to work through, am I really a mistake? And of course, I definitely want to share that if you are Christian based, you know God doesn't make mistakes. He said,
Amen.
when he created the world, he looked back and said, it's good. So I
Right.
have to know that I'm intentional, that God intended to use my parents as a vehicle, teenagers or not, for me to be here. But that took a lot of hard work. And so many people, when you're in those situations, when you've been told that you're a mistake, and when you've been put in situations where you don't believe that you deserve to be, you begin to believe that because that's all you know. That's all you know. And so I beg upon individuals, young and old, that to understand and realize that everything God has done, he's done with good intention. And so your intent, his intent is for you to be here. And I had to realize that my parents were on assignment. I'm an assignment. I was their assignment. And so as their assignment, they completed it, whether I liked it or not. How my mother, her fear of me becoming a teenage parent, the way she projected on me, she was a child. She was a
Right.
child. If you look back at that, you would truly see she was a child, and she was doing in her mind what she thought would prevent me from not living my best life.
So when did you realize that this was the time for you to go to therapy?
Last year, January 27th, 2020.
The exact time.
And I say it jokingly, but when you realize that you have truly hit rock bottom, oftentimes we walk out of our houses with masks on. People ask you how you're doing.
Yes.
I'm doing great. How's your day? Oh, it's wonderful. But inside, it's just as dark as the day that you lost the most important person in your life. And that's where I was, in a dark place, walking out. And of course, in my family, I am the strong person. I am the person that people
It's
rely
hard
on.
being the strong person. When you're the strong person, people don't check on you. They
And
just
people,
think that you're okay.
and they can't relate because it's like, you're strong, you can handle that. And the truth
Right.
is, I was breaking. I was breaking because my son now is a preteen. He's going to ninth grade, and he's going to have all of these experiences with peer pressure and all these things. And so all of those things were starting to crowd my mind, and it was bringing up triggers. And the triggers were my fear of, I don't want my son to, and of course, I'll say my biological father, his entire family struggled with drug abuse. And so all of those triggers of, this could happen to my son, this could happen to my child.
Right.
I found myself projecting my fear on my child. And it took my son saying to me, Mom, like, come on already. And just that simple statement, come on already. It was like, oh my God, and it wasn't out of disrespect that he said it, but it was just the fear I was giving was smothering
Right,
him. I know
right,
that
right.
I did not want my son to be me at my age when he's old. I just didn't want it.
You know, your mom said it probably said the same thing.